Every time we get a book where they're like talking about dragons, I hate him and his stupid little POVs and his stupid little opinions and his stupid situationship. It was 6:15 a.m. and I was sweating like a nun at the Magic Mike show. You're dating a man, a finance bro, with a signet ring on his pinky called Kyle. Oh yes. Oh, he has a sister. Hello. Welcome back to my monthly recap. I realize I kind of skipped a month. In my defense, I was finishing my master's degree. The girl has submitted her dissertation. Let's fucking go. Only 15,000 words, and I don't even know how many mental breakdowns, honestly. Hundreds. Hundreds, easily. It was a nightmare, but it is done, and I'm mostly happy with it. But welcome back. Monthly recap. We're here. We're very excited. I have 2 months to recap, but I only had one book in August, which is kind of why I didn't do this. I was like, do we really want to sit down and just talk about one book? And also, I didn't really have time. I was going through it, fighting for my life and writing a lot. But here we are. And it was a reread. My one August book was reread. So we might as well just do it now and do it, together with September. I had 3 books in September, so we have a total of 4 books to go through together, and I'm very excited. And I'm gonna give you a little life update kind of at the end. Filming update, ideas update. I have time now. I'm no longer dying. I'm no longer actively in uni, although I am looking for a job. So it's not a 10 out of 10, but we're improving. You can tell behind me as well. I have finally put up all of my prints on my wall, which was so exciting. Let me tell you, there's Harrow. She's gonna come back. We're gonna talk about Harrow later, which is why I'm really like, look at Harrow, look at my girl. And then we have the ghouls, a lot of ghost ghouls, just because I love this artist. It might change. I'm going to Comic Con in a couple weeks, and I'm hoping to get a few more prints, complete this wall, but I'm very excited about it. And now let's talk about our books. Now, the first book I have read. Can you even see my little pile? You can kind of see my pile of books. Should I move it to the other side? I feel like I should. Wait, there we go. The pile is with Gusterium. But there we go. I feel like I can talk this way and I won't have to hold the microphone. It would just look like a weird mushroom thing next to me, which I don't know which one I hate more. But we're trying a new angle. Did I say that? I don't know, but you can see me. You can see a whole person, which is strange. I feel like I have people all around me. Anyway, I should just get to it, shouldn't I? But talking about Harrow, this is what I meant when I said we're gonna come back to Harrow in a second. First book though, clear, and I don't know how much you can see, but I'll put a picture anyway. Gideon the Ninth. I know, a reread in this day and age. But when I was reading Harrow, I was like, I really want to reread Gideon now to see how much I missed in Gideon. As you can tell, I don't know if you can tell actually. I don't know how much you can see. Camera's pretty far. There's a bunch of tabs. I did miss a lot of things. But I didn't read it physically. I audiobooked it, which is a first for me. I don't usually do audiobooks. It's very rare. But my library had the audiobooks for, I think they have all of the Locked Tomb. I think they have all 3. But I had been on the list for Gideon for maybe like 3-4 months, and then of course it came in a couple weeks before my dissertation, and I only had 14 days to read it, and then I did like skip my first turn, and I had to, it was a whole thing, but I did finally listen to it. I've been doing a lot of sewing. I have a quilt in the making that hopefully you'll see at some point. I'm hoping that, new angle. I kind of want to have the quilt on me. I think it would be cool. But she's still in the works, so she's not. I just have squares right now. Maybe one day you'll see her if I ever finish her. But yeah, audiobooked Gideon the Ninth. The narrator, Moira Quirk, I believe is her name. Incredible. Incredible. And as I said, I'm not an audiobook girl. I get really distracted with audiobooks, so I need something, good enough to keep me there, keep me active, keep me, focused. And I felt like Gideon was a good one for that because I've read it before. I remember most of it. I did forget about the whole head in a box, which I won't elaborate because I'm not going to give out spoilers for Gideon. But I did forget about the whole head in a box thing that happens at some point in this, which is a strange thing to forget about. Like the fact that that was like one of the less weird things in this book says so much. But well, anyway, it was so good. The way they like the audiobook narrator voice acts for Gideon and Harrow, obsessed. Harrow now in my head is like a sickly Victorian child. She kind of is, isn't she? But with like a really good British accent. I love her. She's incredible. But what it was mostly. I have notes. Did I forget to say anything? Yeah, no. It was so good. I cried like 20 times. Not gonna lie. Every time something happens that I was like, oh my, remember this? And I start crying. Um, I am even more obsessed with Cam than I was before, which is saying something because I already loved Cam. MVP. MVP. She's an icon. She is the moment. And yeah, now I really want to reread Harrow, which I probably shouldn't because I have so much to read and I should stop rereading things, but this is now my comfort series. So here we are. Probably gonna be reading a bunch. I have become synonymous with this. I feel like yeah, I've talked about it so much on my channel already, and we're on what video number 6 that I've ever made, and I still haven't shut up about the October. But I have become so synonymous with it. I need to go and grab them. But basically, my friend, Ghostly Peach, Emma, hi, hello, if you're here. I'll link her Instagram. She is our real influencer friend. But she is subscribed to Illumicrate and they did those page markers? Bookmarks. That's the word. Sorry. They did those bookmarks with all of the 9 people, the 9 houses, all 9. Oh, but yeah, it's all 9 necromancers and their cavaliers on the other side. And it's so beautiful. I feel like I usually give like a rundown of the books, but I don't know how much I can give a rundown of Gideon, but it's basically space necromancers with swords, and there's this not meeting, but like challenge thing going on to become a lictor, which is like the second hand, almost the hand of the divine, as if all of you have played Dragon Age. You should. Well, maybe you shouldn't. We don't know what's happening with BioWare right now, and that's the whole thing. Is EA, EAY. Like I say that a lot, but EAY. Anyway, but you can become like the right hand of the emperor and like serve the emperor or whatever. But you have to go through this little challenge this is the second time it's ever happened in millennia, and they bring in the representative from every single house. There are 9 houses. So houses 2 through 9 because 1 is the emperor. Go send their necromancer, which their best necromancer, I think they send. It's not all of them are like royal family, but most of them are. And then they each bring their cavalier with them to help them, and they go through a lot of stuff, and then things go wrong, as they do. They go massively wrong, and we follow Gideon and Harrow, which are the 9th house. And they're my babies. Oh, and talk about toxic lesbians, man. They're incredible. We love them. Highly recommend. My favorite book series of all time. Easily. Ignoring the series I grew up with, like Percy Jackson. This is my favorite book series of all time. Who's texting me? My mother. And now, second book, ignore this file. Oh, this chonker. And now, I was reading these 2 at the same time. So Gideon and Priory were overlapping for a while. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Like, if you have any kind of common sense, maybe don't pick 2 high fantasy chonkers to be read simultaneously. That was not my brightest moment, but it had to be done because I started Priory before I got my audiobook for Gideon. And I was reading this on my Kindle just for context. There is no way. There is no way I could have read this fucking brick of a book if it wasn't on my Kindle. Impossible. It is so long. This took me like a month and a half to read, which I feel like is appropriate. I did really love it. I feel like I've been shitting on it a little bit right now, but I did really love it. I feel like I don't know if I would recommend this to people who haven't read a lot of fantasy though, because it is a lot. It is high fantasy. It is you're thrown into this world and you have like a bunch of different POVs. You have this whole world that never really gets explained to you. You just kind of have to pick it up as it goes, which I personally prefer. We're gonna come back to this, but I hate when books just like info dump on you. I much prefer figuring it out as we go, so I really did enjoy. And for a book that is, what are you, like 900 pages? Yeah, like 850 pages. I expected to get bored because I get bored when it's 600 pages. I get bored really easily. I need to be kept entertained. For how long it is, it kept me entertained. And I have to give it that much because I did not expect that it would keep me entertained. I expected to get bored. I did a little bit, but mostly because I kind of got overwhelmed with how much of the world we had. I'll come back to this. But it was really good. There was so much action, so many dragons. Did not expect, like, I feel like every time we get a book where they're like talking about dragons. Okay. Sorry, the neighbors. Every time I just know that they can hear me and I feel so self-conscious. Is this weird of talking about on her own? Anyway. Um, yeah, dragons. I feel like every time there's like dragons, now I'm gonna be talking lower. I'm just gonna do this. But like I feel like they're like, yeah, there's dragons in this book, and they never actually give us dragons. Or like they come really late in the story to give us the dragons. And I just really appreciated that we got a dragon like super early in this. And we got multiple dragons super early in this. Also, most of the POVs loved them. There is one of them. Nicklay's Bruce. When I catch you, you stupid, stinky little man, I will kill you. I have so much rage towards this man. Like, I feel like I can speak again. Um, it's not even normal. The amount of rage I have towards him. I hate him. I hate him and his stupid little POVs and his stupid little opinions and his stupid situationship. Oh, he triggered me so bad. Like literally, I had to duck a star. I gave this 4 stars. The entire star that I ducked was about Nicholas Roos and his existence. And spoilers, skip like 10 seconds. The fact that he doesn't fucking die. Just kill him. Anyway, everyone else, I really loved. I really liked, what was his name? The other man. I almost want to call him Locke, but I'm pretty sure he's not. Loth. There we go. His name is Loth. Artloth. Loved him. Did forget his name. I'm so sorry, Bestie. But he was so much fun to follow. He was probably my favorite POV. Him and Tane, I think, were my favorite. Iad was fun, but Iad felt, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. She just didn't hit me as hard as the other two. I just really enjoyed Tane and Law mostly. I do. Sabran and Iad were so much fun. I do love Sabran. She's incredible. She was so much fun to read. I love a reluctant like ruler. It's one of my favorite tropes. It's like when you have this ruler that really doesn't want to be a ruler and doesn't want to be and like have heirs and like he's like why do we even have a monarchy? Oh, love it. 10 out of 10 immediately. So I love Sabran. And yeah, what I did I give a summary to this? I don't think I did. But it's basically the world is ending. But there's this house that has rule over this one country that is believed to have blood that keeps the darkness at bay. So they send Iad to protect Sabran. Sabran, how do you pronounce it? Sabran Berethna. Like Sabran. But she's like the ruler with the blood or whatever. And she needs to have a daughter, but she doesn't want to get married. And Iad is her lady in waiting, but she's actually just there to like kind of spy on her, but also keep her alive because they don't know if her blood actually keeps the darkness at bay. There's a lot of religious stuff going on. Loth is halfway across the world dealing with his own issues. He has a whole I don't even know how to summarize whatever Loth has going on, but he's got a lot going on. And then Tane is on the other side of the world and she's from a dragon rider kind of background. She's training to be a dragon rider to protect her country. And Country 1, which is Sabran and the Berethnates and all of that, are very anti-dragon. They're just worms. They're evil. We don't like them. Meanwhile, Kane is like very pro-dragon. So there's that whole thing going on of like they need to unite the East and the West to fight the big bad evil, who is a dragon, by the way. Bigger dragon, but he is a dragon. They need to unite like those two people who believe in very different things to face the great evil. And it's really good. I really did love it. I really did enjoy it. This is my one thing that I kind of wish. I think it's more of a me thing because, like I said, I kind of got overwhelmed with just how long this took to get through. I'm not someone who ever like binges series, right? I think if you are someone who loves binging a series and like reading like 5, 6 books in the same world, like consecutively, you're gonna love this and the length of it and the fact that it's like 900 pages. But as someone who gets bored of a world and kind of needs to have a break from it and like read something else and then come back to it, that's kind of how I consume my series. I hated how long it was. I really wish that this was a duology instead. I feel like it would have hit a lot better for me personally because I wouldn't have gotten quite as overwhelmed with it in a sense. And there's a part where like I could tell you exactly where I think it should be cut in half. Yours, it would have been perfect. It would have been a cliffhanger. It would have like I think it would have wrapped up book one really well. That's not a me thing. But yeah, maybe don't read it when one, you're just really fucking busy, and two, you're also reading a different high fantasy sci-fi at the same time because that was a lot going on for me. Maybe a bit too much, but that was on me and not on the book. My only real issue in this is Nicholas Roos. I did almost rage quit. I got to chapter 67. Do we think I can open it to chapter 67? Just to show you how deep I was in this. Oh, there. Beautiful. So I got this far into the book, right? I had read all of this part and I had this much left on the bottom. This? That's all I had left. And I almost DNF'd it. I couldn't. It drove me. This chapter, the anger that this chapter like roused in me was insane. And I posted on Instagram and I was like, I want to DNF it. But like I was what 729 pages in, so I wasn't gonna. So I did stick through and I did finish it, which I don't regret finishing it. But like chapter 67, if you're ever reading this and you get to that chapter and you're like, oh my fucking god, me too. Although I do feel like it was a unique feeling because whenever I talked about it, people do agree in my opinion on the fucking man that I hate in this. But we don't have as much internalized rage as I do. I am just spiteful and I am hateful. And this is just how I am as a person. So he really pissed me off. Now I'm going to say spoilers. I'll put somewhere on the screen where you can go to. But the reason this pissed me off, right, is that Nicholas almost dies. How many? Like hundreds of times. He's constantly on the verge of death. Constantly, he's like almost dying. And then when there's like a point where like he kind of dies when they're on like the weird island with the mulberry tree or whatever, and I was so happy. I celebrated that this man was dead. I was like, oh my god, I can finally enjoy this book and continue this and not be interrupted every couple chapters. But this little bitch ass man. And then I get to chapter 67, and then he's alive. He didn't die. He's fine. He's just fine. What do you mean he is fine but like Kit was dead? You killed Kit but you didn't kill Nicholas Roos? That's it. Like, I didn't care about him. I didn't care about his storyline. I didn't care about anything he had to do because all he did was so annoying. I didn't care about his whole situationship thing with whatever his name was, like the noble, and they were in love but not in love. Like, okay, you know what? It's the only part that I'm not mad about is that at least he wasn't a straight man, because that would have put me in so much more rage. But he really, I just could not stand him. I just wanted to get rid of him, and she kept on coming back every single time. And like, how? What do you mean he survives the end of the book? Why? Why would you do that, Samantha? What was the reason? Why would you do this to me? He survived, and like he is knocked out unconscious for the entirety of the final conflict. He is on a boat in the middle of the abyss, getting rocked and like thrown into the fucking fire with the Great Forgotten One that's spitting fire at them. And he just survives when everyone else barely escapes with their lives. And he just sleeps through it? The camera's about to shut me up. It did. Anyway, I'm back. Um, it told me to shut up and stop complaining about him, but like genuinely that pissed me off so much. And like it kept on pissing me off. The more I think about it, the more enraged I am about this whole thing. So yeah, Nicholas Roos, if I ever catch you on the streets, you are so dead. But also, just like side note, but the whole really weird incestuous relationship with Kaliba, was that her name? The Witch of the Wilds? That was insane. Her whole like being angry for generations and wanting to destroy the world just because her adoptive son didn't want to fuck her is wild. Anyway, we're gonna move on because I feel like it's normal that with such a thick book I have so many things to say, but like no one wants to hear me complain about Nicholas Roos. Now we're gonna go into another book that I have a lot of opinions about. So, book 3 was Untamed Heart by Gemma Morr. And not gonna lie, I picked this up at the works because it had pretty spreads. And it's yeehaw. And I was like, it was like £2 maybe. We love the works. But if I had spent any more money on this, I would be mad. It was so bad. Like, you know, when I picked it up, I was like, oh, this is gonna be terrible. But I love like a bad yeehaw romance is so up my alley, and I love them. But this was abysmal. This was so bad. Like literally opening line, okay? I'm gonna read you the opening line. It was 6:15 a.m. and I was sweating like a nun at a Magic Mike show. Iconic, but also when I read that, I was like, oh, this is gonna be horrendous. And it was. It was so bad. We follow, what's her name? Lottie, who is in her like dead end job and she's just really miserable and she hates being there. And she has a boyfriend named Kyle. As if anyone named Kyle wasn't gonna cheat on her. He does cheat on her. But like, you're dating a man, a finance bro, with a signet ring on his pinky called Kyle. And you really like didn't expect the betrayal coming? Like, I'm sorry. A little bit stupid of you, Lottie, but yeah, she has Kyle. She gets sacked from her job because her boss was a bitch. And then on the same day, Kyle does a little bitch ass move and breaks and like what? He doesn't even break up with her. It's like really weird. You can tell she's not even happy in their relationship and that he's using her. She can't apparently because she's not the brightest in the room. She finds out he's been cheating on her for years and he is living with another woman and she had never known. It was been years, which I'm sorry. I've never been in this situation mostly because I don't trust people. That's not true. But like I don't mess with men. I'm not interested. Thank you very much. One boyfriend was enough for me. But is that really like are you capable of like missing that your husband is like living, not your husband, your boyfriend of years and years and years is living with a different woman and she's never like clocked it and it's been years? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I feel like that would be kind of obvious, but I guess not. I feel like those situations do happen. I'm just judgy. Anyway, but that was strange and she finds out about it and then her knee-jerk reaction, of course, because she's so normal, is to pack her bags and then she was gonna go and spend some time with her mother in the British countryside. But instead, she's on the tube. She's on the Piccadilly, I think yeah, she was on the Piccadilly line and she's like, I could just go to Heathrow. Which I don't think anyone ever says that. I don't think anyone has ever like thought about Heathrow Airport as a good thing. Or maybe again, it's me and my travel anxiety, but Heathrow, not exactly what where I would want to go if I was having a hard time. But yeah, she decides I'm just gonna go to Heathrow and see if they have a flight to Wyoming of all places. And she does, and obviously the flights to Wyoming are empty. wild. So she gets on this flight to Wyoming to visit her cousin who owns a ranch, and she hasn't seen this cousin, right? She hasn't spoken to this cousin. They used to be like sisters. Hasn't spoken to her in years because she found that the divorce of her cousin's parents was too traumatic for her to stay in contact. And I don't know, that's one way to make it about you. Not sure that I would support you about that, bestie. Lottie. Lottie. Anyway, she gets to the ranch. Things aren't looking well. The ranch is not doing well because when are they ever doing well in these books? I don't think there's a single book where you're like, oh yeah, the ranch is doing so well. And then there's a bunch of cowboys working there, you know, retired bull riders as they are, and like a bunch of other normal cowboys, whatever other cowboys do. They're all really hot. She falls in love with one of them. Within the span of 2 weeks, she decides to leave her entire life behind and to stay with said cowboy because she's so deeply in love. And clearly her place and her heart have always been in Wyoming, which I've never been to Wyoming, so I can't really say I wouldn't feel the same way, but I don't think I would. But good for her. She's clearly thriving. But yeah, there was just nothing to it. Like there wasn't anything good. I'm trying not to spoil the entire thing, right? I'm just giving you like kind of the obvious rundown. Of course, she's gonna fall in love and stay in Wyoming. Like, did anyone expect anything else from a yeehaw romance? First of all, she has this best friend who is bisexual. We love to see it, but the way she is portrayed just gave me the ick. I didn't like it. I didn't like the way she was portrayed. It kind of gave me the ick. And the cowboy, he really hadn't anything going on. His name was Cole Miller, ex rodeo star. He has some trauma and he's just, traumatized cowboy, but he's so good at it. And she finds him so attractive because he's traumatized. You can't fix him. But yeah, she falls in love. And I just felt like there was no connection between them beyond like a sexual connection. And they just randomly started giving each other like the deep down. Like she talked to Cole like 2 times. And then on the third time, he was just like, oh yeah, my mom abandoned me. She moved away. My dad is an abusive piece of shit. I don't even remember his dad is, but he's probably abusive. And like my best friend died and that's why I quit rodeo. I'm like, you have talked to this girl 3 times and I'm an overshare. I overshare. But like, this is the third time you've spoken to this woman and you're just bearing your heart to her. It just felt really weird. It just felt like, why would you do that? It's way too early. You don't know her. You don't know each other. And there was a whole plot with yeehaw influencers. That was a wild ride. Like there's a bunch of influencers. She's like trying to help the ranch out. She invites influencers and then pretends to be not with Cole, but Cole can't take his eyes off of her because, they have this sizzling relationship. And they've met like 2 weeks ago, but they love each other so much that he can't be separated from her for more than 5 seconds without, cracking. And then yeah, that was weird. The whole Yeehaw influencer thing was weird. I think book 2 might be the best friend and one of the cowboys, and I'm a bit more interested in that because that second cowboy, whatever his name was, I liked him more than anyone else in the book. I can't promise I'm gonna be continuing this series though. I'm not gonna lie. I think this was a debut. It feels like a debut. Yeah, not for me. But yeah, it was something. It low key, but like, the storyline you would get if you made a ranch in The Sims 4 and you just let it run on its own. Like that's kind of how I feel this book was going. But yeah, it was an adventure. And then okay, finally, I read on my Kindle. So pretend this is my Kindle. It's upside down. My final read was Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare, and I don't have a physical copy, and my Kindle is displaying a different book. So pretend wherever I put the image on the screen, just pretend I'm holding it up for you. Okay, Clockwork Prince, second book in Infernal Devices, I'm pretty sure, is the series. By Cassandra Clare. The whole Shadowhunter universe, they're in it. I think they're a prequel, if I'm not wrong. Don't quote me though. I do not know the Shadowhunters lore. This is my second book ever by Cassandra Clare. So me and the Shadowhunters, we don't have that deep of a relationship. No idea what the rest of the series is like. All I know is that Magnus Bane and Magnus Chase share a name. So please don't quote me on anything I say here. If I mess up the lore, just educate me. Please let me know in the comments below. But yeah, so I read the first book. Clockwork Angel, I think, right? It's Clockwork Angel? Yeah. I read it like a year ago and I really liked it. And I read it because I kept on getting Shadowhunters TikToks. And I asked my best friend who has read it, I was like, do you think I should read the Shadowhunters? And she immediately was like, you're gonna hate the main series. Don't do that to yourself. You're gonna hate it. You're gonna piss me off because you're gonna hate it. And I was like, that's so fair. And then she goes, but you could read the Infernal Devices because you're gonna like Will. I do, in fact, like Will. She was correct. She knows me. So I read it like a year ago. And then I kept on getting recently TikToks of Shadowhunters, and I was like, this is a sign to continue the series. So here we are reading Clockwork Prince. I finished it. Really good. Really loved it. Had so much fun with it. We follow like spoiler less. No spoilers here yet. I'll let you know. But we follow like our little group of Shadowhunters as they prepare to fight the big bad. And they're just kind of vibing and trying to figure out what Tessa is and where the big bad man is and how to kill him, I guess. I think they're going to kill him. I doubt that you would just put him behind bars with everything. I feel like kind of needs to die. And there's a bunch of like political Shadowhunters drama in the middle of all this. But it was really good. I love the characters. I will give it that. Like the characters genuinely, Will, Jem, Tessa. I love Charlotte. She's so much fun. Henry, Sophie, that's her name. They're all so much fun. I also really liked, oh, what are they? Lightwood? Is that their name? Gideon. I know his name is Gideon because every Gideon is great. He's probably my favorite character in this book. Gideon, I think it's Lightwood, right? I'll look it up at some point and I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, Gideon and Gabriel were quite fun as well. I just, it's found family and I eat up found family. I love found family. There's nothing I like more. So gave me a cute little found family. I'm just gonna, enjoy it very much. Thank you. But it was so fun. And yeah, I will say, it went a little too well for what I was expecting. I was expecting things to go wrong, which they kind of did, but didn't go wrong quite as much as I thought they would. So I'm very concerned about book 3. I feel like I'm gonna have my heart ripped out in book 3. I'll just have to deal with it. I guess. I just have to accept my fate and accept that I'm gonna cry, which I probably would. I didn't cry in this book, as far as I can remember. I don't think I cried in the first one either, to be fair. But yeah, I really enjoyed following Will around. He's just really interesting and really fun to me. Tessa's okay. Tessa's a little bit silly. But she's what, 16? So I can give it to her to be silly. I accept that you're gonna be stupid if you're 16. I feel like that's just a given. It comes with the territory of being a teenager. So that's okay. But yeah, that little like love triangle. Is it really a love triangle between like Jess, Tessa, and Will? Jess. Jem. Jem, Tessa, and Will. Only love triangle I can get behind. I love them. They were really fun. They're so cute. And yeah, I cannot wait to see how everything goes back in book 3. I'll be waiting. Uh. But anyway, spoilers now. Skip to whatever time is on screen if you want to avoid them. I was so sure Gemma's gonna die. Like I was ready. I was like, they've been setting it up. Like I know he's gonna die. Don't get me wrong. That man is not outliving this series. He's 100% dead. But I thought he was gonna die in this book and haunt the narrative of the next book. But no, he's still alive, which was shocking to me. Like I really I was waiting for him to drop dead at any moment. But he's not. He's still alive. Good for him. I do really like him. Like it's not like I wanted to get rid of him like Nicolay's fucking Roos. But yeah, I did not expect him to outlive this book. I felt like they were really gunning towards him dying. The way he was set up. Like I know has sickness and whatnot. But like the way it kept on being brought up so much in this book, I was like, yeah, he's gonna die. And he didn't. Good for him. We get to keep them a little bit longer. I won't be mad at that. I did. So when Cecily shows up and Will was so shocked and he's like, and then like it cut off. I went to sleep at that point, right? I was reading it. I got to the end of that chapter and I went to sleep and I texted my friends because I update them on everything I do and they get like 20-minute voice notes from me because obviously I'm a yapper. But I was updating my friend and I was like, yeah, that his dead sister just showed up and he's really shocked. And the next day I read the chapter that comes afterwards where Jem and Tessa find out that it's his dead sister, and apparently we didn't know that that was his sister, or that like his sisters are like dead. I thought we did know. I don't know if I imagined knowing or if I just like knew in my heart of hearts because I'm just that cool and that smart. But like that was funny because I was like, yeah, his sister showed up, and then everyone was shocked about his sister showing up. I was like, oh, oh yes, oh he has a sister. Like, I want to say I missed the memo, but I feel like I got the memo too early. Yeah, that and his whole curse. In when I read book one, I was like, I know where this is going. And then when we got into this book and we find out like the whole background of the curse with Magnus, I called my best friend who got me to read. And I was on a call with her and I was like, I'm telling you now that his curse is fake and that the demon had just poisoned his sister with his tail because he wanted her with his tail. The other sister, not Cecily, Ella. I was like, the demon 100% bluffed and will has gone into his head and the curse is fake. And then I was fucking right. I am a genius. I was right. I was proven right. And this was one of those cases where I'm like, I'm so glad that this is where it went because I would have been disappointed if it wasn't. But yeah, I'm a genius. I could tell I got it right from the very beginning. So yeah, I'm just that good. That's all I have to say about that. Yeah, I love Magnus. I'm so happy he's out of his whole situationship with the creepy vampire. That was strange. That was weird. I'm glad he's out of it. Yeah, also the baby at the end, I felt like, right, with how it's discussed in the book, that Charlotte and Henry are having issues, right? Like I didn't imagine that they would have been making a baby. They were clearly having marital issues and they had to talk through them, which we love communication. We love to see it. We love how they talk through it. That was really fun. And I enjoyed reading it. And then I saw that she went to tell him something and it got cut off. I was like, oh my God, she's fucking pregnant. And again, I called it. I was right. Regardless, I feel like that was very random to me because I was like, you guys are having marital issues and you haven't been talking to each other, but you've been making babies? I mean, again, maybe that's just me and the way I am, but I would not be making a baby with someone if I wasn't on talking terms with them. But I don't know. Could be me. Could just be me. Good for them. Weird time to bring a child into this world, considering that they're facing like the end of the world as they know it. The engagement was weird as well. Like I'm happy for Jem and I'm happy for Tessa and like good for them. But first of all, they're 16 and 17. And I know we are in Victorian times, right? And it's like the 1700s. But to me, we don't need to get married at 16 and 17. And I get it that this was the olden days, but I still feel like that was kind of unnecessary. And I know he's like pressed on time because he's dying, but I was like, do we need to get married? Is that like a necessity for life? I don't know. I mean, made him happy. Who am I to judge? Although it did make it really weird with the love triangle, but sure, I guess. But yeah, that was all of the books I've read this month. On these 2 months, these past 2 months. I also read, you won't get any reviews of them from me. I'm sure you're gonna be so disappointed to hear, but I read about 60 academic papers of varying lengths about different types of work songs in Scotland because that's what my dissertation was about. I won't bore you with the details, but that was my main reading material for the past couple months outside of those 3 books. I'm still really happy. I got to read four books. Or did I say 3? 4 whole books, including one that is a brick. So, a win is a win. Happy about that. Very excited for October. I have a really good TBR. It's finally kind of cold outside. Today it isn't. Because, of course, the day that I wanted to be here, bundled up with my little blanket, but it was way too warm, so there's no blanket for us today. But yeah, it's finally cold. It's finally October. This is my time of the year. So yeah, and I'm participating in a readathon for October, raising money for Palestine. I think it's medical aid for Palestine. I'll double check and I'll put it in the description. And I'll put a link to donate if you're interested. But we are taking part in this readathon where for every book you read, you donate a little bit of money, which I think is really cool. Really fun idea and really excited. Everyone has been so lovely. It's a lot of people I don't know. So I was really scared because I'm scared of strangers. But it was great. And I have an actual TBR. Who is she? I am the most mood reader out there. And I have an actual TBR because we have a list of prompts to hit. So I'm gonna hit through them. It's gonna be really fun. I'm already on book 2 of the month, and it is the 7th of October. 7th of October. And I'm on book 2. I have read One Dark Window, which you will hear about. It was okay. It was mid. I'll say more next month. And I am almost done with What Feasts at Night by T. Kingfisher, which I really loving. I love Kingfisher. So that's the little October update, little sneak peek into next month. And I'm also, hopefully, I started it and I'm hoping to continue with it. I'm doing like a little bit of a reading vlog. So I hope I remember to film enough that it actually makes a vlog and I can, share it on here. And yeah, maybe November, since I'll have a little bit more time once the readathon is done. I have a few video series that I have ideas for that could be really fun, and I have time now. That's it. That was it. Overall, pretty good 2 months, apart from all of the academic drama that made me cry. And yeah, I guess I'll see you next month, at the end of this month, during this month. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. If you enjoyed this, please, leave a comment, press the like button. I always feel so awkward saying these things. Or, you could subscribe if you want to hear more of me just like yapping away. Would love to hear that. If you have different opinions about these books, how do you feel about Nicholas Roos? I would love to hear how other people feel about Nicholas Roos. Please leave that in the comments. I would love to hear. And yeah, before I embarrass myself more, because this is the most awkward part of the video for me, I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna go away and I'm gonna edit and set a job application. Let's fucking go.